Thinking of doing a bedroom reno? Maybe a little hesitant or scared? Well, don't worry, take a look. Over at Modern Builds, what was a pretty plain, outdated room is getting a total DIY makeover, including a custom bookshelf to fit to the walls. Now, when doing this, a great idea for the framing of a bookshelf is to use half-lap joints wherever those beams intersect. Something all DIY enthusiasts should give a try and try to get good at. Also a good idea to sand down these beams before you bring them into the space. And when it comes to installation, always try to find the studs. Pick up a stud finder, they're not too expensive. It will save you a massive headache down the line to know that these bookcases, any shelves you install, are secured. And if you've got any holes left behind, fill those with a little putty. And if you're going to go DIY, go all the way. Check this out. Some awesome thick rebar is going to be used for the curtain rods. It's got an awesome texture, and it's totally unique. Look to add that sort of personal flair in your space. And when it comes to using equipment like welders, if you haven't got experience, go another way. Otherwise, make sure to wear all that personal protective equipment. Safety has to come first. And check this out, the rebar literally connected to the bookcase and the studs, meaning these curtains are going to be incredibly secure. You can always pull them back with full confidence. And for those curtains, the DIY theme continuing. Find fabric that suits your space, your plan. It doesn't have to be expensive, and then you can use a grommet and die. Put them over top of a bearing, hammer it into place, and you've got an instant, cool looking and easy DIY style. You can see it now being folded over, glued down to double it up. Here you see the process taking place. The bearing laid down, the die underneath, and the grommet's going to be laid over top carefully. A couple of whacks with the hammer. And check that out. How easy will that be to loop on? And saves you a ton of money versus going out and buying designer curtains. Check it out. Looks awesome. And when you can, use what you've already got. In this case, those cupboard doors are going to be covered in compound to fill those grooves that make the whole thing look a little outdated. A nice clean finish, and then paint it. Again, with a color that suits your theme. A lot of yellow going into this particular project, so in the end, once sanded down, smoothed out, a nice coat. And make sure when you're laying the compound down that you give it a couple of coats, that you really do smooth it and sand it down before applying it. Now the framing getting that matching color, and what a refreshing pop of color it is. In a room with some great windows, lots of light inside, that fresh white coat, the bright yellow look amazing. And that color theme going to continue for the frames of the sliding mirror doors. And why wouldn't you? Make sure to mask it off properly. And again, when it comes to spraying indoors, wear the right mask. When it comes to laying down the rail for the bottom of those doors, if you stripped away the carpet, cleaned up the concrete as you see here, a good idea to pre-drill the hole, lay in a plastic anchor, and then lay down those guide rails. The added security, again, can save you a massive headache down the line. And how fun is it to rip away the tape and paper for the reveal of those mirrors? All that's left to do now, paint that door, install it, and take a look at the before and after. A stunning room from what was a pretty plain space. Just proof you can do it yourself.